Congratulations, you're another lucky no prize winner. You'll find it enclosed.
Hello again, and welcome to another episode of No Prize Podcast. I am the official professor, Bud Young, and with me...
Ooh, guess who got some qualifications?
Yes. And with me, as always, from across the pond is Johnny the Machine Hughes. How are you, Johnny?
I am very well. I have purchased a bookcase. I am rechecking my comic collection as we speak.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun on a weekend. That's like weekend work. I love that.
Started at A's and I've come across some Avengers stuff and I've just had to take a look at that for...
Screw the honey-do list. I'm going for comics.
Yeah.
All right, Lucas is also with us. How are you, Lucas?
I'm doing pretty good, guys. I'm reorganizing my comics as well, trying to pull out all these Immortal Hulks that's all of a sudden got hot all of a sudden.
Uh-oh. All right. Yeah, we'll talk about that. All right, so we got another week full of, hopefully good books that we're going to review. So
Yeah.
let's
So bad there.
let's jump right in. Let's do what do we want to do? Let's do West Coast Avengers, number 8. Lucas, you're up.
All right, so West Coast Avengers number 8, written by Kelly Thompson, the art by Gang Hyuk Lim, and the cover was by Edward Petrovich. So to be blunt, there's only like 4 characters I give a fuck about in this damn book. Excuse my language. Kate Bishop, Clint Barton, Gwenpool, and America Chavez sometimes, right? So what's going on is back in number 7, Kate Bishop's ex-boyfriend, Novar, Marvel Boy, shows up at the crib at the headquarters and says, hey man, there's all this stuff going on with the Skrulls, there's this big conspiracy going on, there's this cult going on in California, man, we gotta get over there right now. And everybody's like, yeah, well, is it really Skrulls? No, do we really have to go over there right now? And he goes, well, but there's all these people that are missing. And you're like, well, dude, why didn't you lead with that? Just tell us people are missing, and then we'll go ahead and investigate. So they get off their asses, they go investigate. Now, I don't want to go through the whole deal, but it actually ended with 2 surprising notes. First, Kate's mother shows up, right? And she says she's looking for Kate Bishop, which is really surprising because, they have a really weird, contentious relationship. Number 2 is that it's not Skrulls, it's actually vampires.
Da, da, da.
Right? Which, like I said before, it sends chills up my spine when Marvel actually is getting their stuff together and making sure that some of the events are happening in some of the other books. For instance, this whole vampire thing is happening in a couple of the other books, right? And then the other thing that happened is that one of the vampires is actually bitten to America Chavez. Now, why that's interesting is because they actually established in the book that America Chavez is supposed to be invulnerable, right? So how in the heck is a vampire going to be able to bite into America Chavez's neck? And not only did they bite into her neck, her eyes turn red, which means that she's turning into a vampire. So my thinking is in the next iterations, is America Chavez going to turn into a vampire? Is that what they're going to try to do for her character arc? I don't know.
All right, sorry.
Hey, I understand, man. It would make her more interesting than anything she's done so far. So if they did that with her, I'm down with it right now. If you can't stand the characters or the story art or the story, the art by Gang Hyuk Lim is absolutely fantastic. The interior art is absolutely fantastic. I've never seen America Chavez look so good or Gwenpool look so good. It gives it a nice nitro boost. It gives there's a lot of Japanese animation type feel. I mean, it was really pretty doggone good, for me anyways. So I was wondering what you guys felt about it.
So yeah. At first, when I saw like the end of the end where it was vampires, I was like, wait, they're running around in Avengers too. So I mean, is this an event-driven book, like where the Avengers or the vampires are attacking on the West Coast too? I don't know how many vampires can there possibly be.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure where they're coming from. I think they're coming from some type of underworld, because the same thing was happening in Cloak and Dagger, I believe, right? They're running into vampires as well, I believe.
Yeah. This is where I run into the fact that it's probably just editors and the writers not talking to each other and deciding that, hey, vampires are cool this month. And I mean, the Wrecking Crew was just running around in what, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur last month, and now they're in jail with Captain America this month.
Yep. Any reason they can come up with Blade to show up, I'm down with that.
So, the other things. So, I was a huge fan of several years ago of is it Matt Fraction's Hawkeye run? Is that was Matt Fraction, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, the one thing that I cannot forgive him for is for turning Clint Barton into a bumbling idiot. And I used to love Hawkeye. I would buy anything that had Hawkeye in it. And I can't stand his character anymore. He just comes off as stupid. He comes off, and they even say that he's less popular than Wonder Man, which I was like, okay, so they lined up that joke pretty well. And then the only big thing that is in what world is Clint Barton able to disguise himself as Simon? Because
the Marvel world.
The Marvel world. He looks just like Simon with a dye job, and like he must be wearing rubber muscles.
Did they make you juicer? How?
I thought that was only in the X-Men. I thought that was X-Men.
No, it says. Hang on a second. There's a panel where they say, why have you got thingy such and such? There's a panel that says it. Where is it? Let me find it. It is. But before they put the geeky uniforms on, there he is. What's this? It's Nova's imaging juicer thing. Why do I need that? Well, we all agreed that you were famous enough on your own to get in, so you'll be pretending to be Wonder Man. So there you go. It's explained. There's a whole panel there.
I must have speed read over that panel. So thank you for correcting me for that. So now I don't care that he looks like Wonder Man anymore.
Two demerits for the premise.
You know what? I will complain that they say that Clint's not famous because I love him. I used to love him. I don't really love him anymore as a bumbling idiot. In the final panel there, where America gets bitten, and you think that maybe this is the character arc. They've already done this with Jubilee several years ago in X-Men. So I really, really hope they don't do it again. But anyhow, what did you think, Johnny?
Well, bearing in mind that this book features a host of characters that I don't really give a hoot about in any shape, way, or form, this was a really fun read. I love the pop references about this is more subtle than these aren't the droids you're looking for. And I love the red shirt references, which reminds me of that old joke, a stormtrooper in a red shirt got into a fight, did they hit anything? That sort of stuff. Stormtrooper shot, missed, the red shirt died anyway. That sort of stuff just makes me laugh, I guess. For me, the only problem that I have with this book is the inclusion of Kate's mum. It seems so far with West Coast Avengers, it's like, this is Kate's book, yet we can't have her go anywhere without one of her parents or guardians, because Clint's always there, and now her mom's turned up. It's like, well, how is it her book if her parents are there? It's like giving your kid the keys to the car, then going in as the backseat driver. What's it all about? I agree with Lucas. The art definitely was fun. I think the tiers of books or levels of books have their own certain art styles. I kind of alluded to this last time we talked, how like the Avenger main books kind of look like the same. There's a whole bunch of books we're looking at today. We've got this like cartoony element down. And I think to myself, well, is that kind of like the second tier, or they're trying to cater to a younger crowd? I don't know. But the art, I love the. Not that I'm a big fan of Gwenpool in any shape, way, or form, but as I said earlier, the somersault as she somersaults in the battle, that panel just looks great.
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
And the Horde of Vampires were cool. I didn't mind so much that America Chavez got bit because their vampires are mystical, which might be like a super thing. I don't know how that works, but I really did like. I like the quiet moments as well of the book, where you had is it Ramona and Chavez on the surfboards?
Yes.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, the kisses, whatever. But it's like the emotion between the two. They just sit there chilling, and I think I've said loads of times that superhero books don't need to be wall-to-wall action or panel-to-panel action. It's those quiet moments that gets us to believe in these characters and some of their motivations and stuff.
Right.
So I thought that was a really, really nice touch. This book, for me, surprisingly, considering how much I bashed it 4 episodes ago, is a rip, roar, and flame on! There you go.
Wow. Okay, Lucas, what did you think of Flame On for you, or?
Yep, it's a flame on for me. I definitely agree with a lot of the points that you guys are bringing up. I was looking back through some of the panels, and I'm looking at the one of the panels that has what's his name, Novar, the shirt that he's wearing that's too small for him, and it says "I devamped Jubilee." What the hell does that mean? Is that Is that like a foreshadowing that Jubilee is going to get bit and turn into a vampire, and then he?
Maybe it's a meta message.
Well, she was a vampire, and she's not a vampire anymore, so I don't know.
Okay. I wasn't tracking that. Okay.
I don't think it had anything to do with Novar, though. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So, Johnny, well, both of you guys, maybe a question for you. So, you know, we've liked Kelly Thompson's work before, right? Mockingbird.
I love. That wasn't Mockingbird. Kelly Thompson was on Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Chelsea Kane was on Mockingbird.
Oh, all right.
Two more
I mixed them up.
Ah,
I mixed them up.
You're down
I mixed them up
already, dude.
All right.
Well,
Sorry,
yeah, I
I'm
do like.
too busy studying my real job.
Fair enough. Yeah, but I do like. I think Kelly Thompson, can write some really fun stuff, like this book. But she, I believe, and this is where I'm going to run the wrath of demerits, is she not also working on the Rogue and Gambit thing? Which is not doing. It's not a lot of fun because it seems to be like guest star hell, that book. It's like, oh, yeah, let's go honeymoon and let's throw him in and her in and him in, and oh, by the way, if we put him in, it's like, well,
yeah, it's kind of terrible, man. And so yeah, you're correct that she is doing the Rogue and Gambit.
Woohoo!
But the thing about that book is it reads more like a Shatterstar book, man.
Yeah, it does at the minute. Two episodes in, it's just. And Longshot in it not so long ago after he'd been in Dominoes. Anyway,
yep.
So this is what I mean. This is what happens sometimes. You get that book. The Rogue Gambit book would have been good as a 4-issue mini-series. They go on the honeymoon. They do what they need to do. They have a bit of a battle because it's a superhero comic. The end. But no, they're dragging it out now with like guest star after guest star. I mean, the writing was on the wall, and then the first issue, Deadpool was in it. It's like, what? You know, and it's like these characters. If you've been an X-Men fan for years and years and years and years, you want to see Rogue and Gambit have their moment. You don't want it spoilt by the litany of guest stars that populate that book.
Right.
It's like the Captain Marvel book right now. How many guest stars are in that right now? But never mind. So you've got me.
You got to throw everybody in that Captain Marvel book to make it readable. But
damn.
Kelly Thompson also wrote, Hawkeye. So Kate Bishop is really her character. So, you know, she kind of owns her now, right? But I'm going to go a bit of a stretch for West Coast Avengers #8, which which is sad. And a lot of it is because I really think this team is ripping off the team that I really loved back in the 80s. So,
Let it go.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm old school. I'm one of those. I've turned into what I hated. I used to hate those old school crotchety comic fans that didn't like change, and now I'm one of them. So.
Damn, you're in a problem with the industry, man.
Yeah, that's me. I'm not. Don't call me a comic skater or anything, but.
To be fair, I think we're going to digress a little bit here, but I actually think, to an extent, I think the comic book industry has let itself down. Because if you think back, so Bud's a similar age to me, so I would suggest that the last time there was an influx of new comic book readers was around the time X-Men was really hot, just before Image kicked off, and then Image happened, right?
Yep.
Now, since that time, the industry has decided to consolidate its fan base and not go out looking for new blood up until 30 years later, well, 20 years later maybe, right?
Yeah.
So in that time period, you cannot blame old school fans for getting crotchety, because now that the comic book industry has said, oh, by the way, yeah, we should have thrown a curveball, it's too late, because all the industry's done is made older fans. It hasn't gone out and got new fans who would accept the changes that they're trying to do and how things are. A new fan picking up West Coast Avengers will not give a rat's ass that Jubilee used to be a vampire.
Right.
Or remember it, or even care, because they didn't read the book at the time. They won't care that this is like a different version of Marvel Boy that used to be in Guardians of the Galaxy. They don't care, because the industry is not. They're trying something new with West Coast as an example, right?
To bring more people in, but they're doing it. The industry is doing it so late in the game that all they've got left as a fan base are us old guys.
Yeah.
So it's not Bud turning into a crotchety old guy or me turning into a crotchety old guy. It's just that there's been no influx of new readers to kind of push back our boundaries a little bit. At least that's my opinion.
Well, I agree with you. You know, I mean, the days of the 17-year run of Chris Claremont on Uncanny X-Men is over. The ADD Society is 5-issue storylines and then on to the next thing.
Well, that's the publishing model, because you get more money in trades than you do in
yeah, but it very much caters to the ADD Society, where they don't want long commitments of comics. I don't think you have any long-term readers. All the long-term readers are us. They're not 18 years old anymore, just swallowing up everything that Marvel's putting out. It's a very much a pick and choose. You know, I'll pick up this trade because it looks cool. Society.
All right, so here's another quick digression. Is it a pick and choose society? Is it? I'm not sure. I think you'd be a bit harsh for saying it's an ADHD thing. I think it's a glut thing. I think there's just too much product out there.
Yeah,
and some of it's really good, and some of it's really bad, and even the bad stuff comes with multiple covers. So
that's what DC is saying, and that's why they are planning to reduce their books by 15%.
Rumored to, yeah.
Yeah. So and they're blaming Marvel. They're saying Marvel is putting out too much crap, so that there's not.
I did some research on this for a separate thing. You're absolutely right, Lucas. Was it January? I think it was in January. Marvel put out 102 comic books to DC's 87.
And we read them all.
Yeah. I didn't.
I read them all.
I didn't read them all. But I'm getting and Lucas is absolutely right. There was a thing hit the web last week saying that DC are going to cut down the books they're putting out by somewhere between 10 and 15%. How accurate that is, don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But there is a glut of material out there, and you think that the independent market's getting stronger and stronger because older readers like us are saying, you know what, we're sick of you messing around with West Coast Avengers. We're going to go and buy Project Superpowers from Dynamite instead, because that's old school storytelling, and that's kind of where our $3.99 are going. So. What are you gonna do?
So I was doing some counting before I gave up. So out of those 102,
Uh-huh.
at least 30 had variant covers.
So I mean that's
So
bonkers.
and at least once again I didn't finish counting. At least 15 had more than 7 covers. Think about that.
Wow. So Marvel's model is just to flood the industry with product and drive the little people just out of business because the buyers can't keep up.
Well, you've read the same stuff I've read. You've read the same history texts and history books that I've read. You know full well. Yeah, because I told you to read them. So you know full well that this has been Marvel's model since the 70s.
Yep.
So
No, absolutely.
So you're talking, here's a question for you to think about. Who was the last, after Deadpool, who was the last really great new superhero that really made a difference in the Marvel Universe?
Yeah. Well, a lot of it is not new characters, but reinvented characters. Like Black Panther has had a renaissance, right?
Yeah,
he's huge and he's in everything, but he was created 50 years ago.
Yeah. You could say Gwen, Spider-Gwen, but that's just Spider-Girl. Just we've already had spiders, so that's fine. Or you could then say Gwenpool.
It was,
but Gwenpool's just a copy of Deadpool.
Gwenpool doesn't even have her own title now, so she don't count.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? It's like,
but they're all derivatives. They're all derivatives, and so's Deadpool's a derivative.
Yeah, I get that. But that was the last character that really captured the imagination of a readership and pulled in loads of new people.
It wasn't Mosaic. No.
Who?
It wasn't Mosaic. Wasn't Mosaic.
So you're just saying words now. Back to books.
I'm teasing you. All right. So let's jump into Superior Spider-Man number 3, and I think I made you guys read this.
Yeah, 2 more demerits for you for this bad boy.
So we got Superior Spider-Man number 3, written by Christos Gage, with art by Mike Hawthorne, inks by Wade Von Grawbadger. And since everybody loves shouting out the letterer, VC's Clayton Cowles.
Clayton Cowles!
I picked this book because all the names were easy to pronounce.
Did you say Georgie Belair on colours?
Yeah, Jordie Bellaire, colorist. And we got Travis Charest cover. There we go. So this is, this is the first of 2 different Spider-Man books we're going to review today. But, the Superior Spider-Man, this is Otto Octavius back in the spider suit, and fighting Terex the Tamer. Or is Terex the Terrible? Or is it Terex the... I don't know. Anyway.
Yes, Terex the Tamer, right. Herald of Galactus.
Yes, and I've read this book before, about 30 years ago, when Peter Parker fought Firelord in the streets of Manhattan.
Yes.
So it's just these.
Good points.
It's not the first time a Spider-Man character has fought a Herald of Galactus. But anyway, I was actually interested in reading this when I saw the first cover, because I was like, how's Otto going to deal with this guy versus how Peter dealt with Firelord? Because back in the day, Peter would just grit and balls, right? Just kind of takes them out. This was way more of a I'm going to steal your powers and use them against you, and the whole addition of Anna Marconi to this whole thing, because I think Anna Marconi was probably one of Dan Slott's greatest creations in his whole Superior Spider-Man run, and maybe his creation in the last 10 years of him writing Spider-Man. I really loved Anna Marconi's character, and I'm glad they didn't kind of write her off into oblivion and kind of making her more of a supporting character here. So I'm kind of really glad to see her. I'm glad that they didn't really fix the relationship between Anna and Otto, and it's kind of more of a contentious relationship now, and she's going to be acting more of his parole officer, she said, which I thought was pretty cool. I really liked the his flunkies there, and I can't remember the name of their group. The Night Shift with Brothers Grimm and Skane, and there were a couple more from the previous issue, but they didn't appear in this issue. But they're good, a little bit of humor, like comic relief. But this is a fight issue, and at the end of the day, this is just a Tarax versus Superior Spider-Man fight issue, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. I don't know how I feel about so many different Spider-Man books running around with people that aren't Peter. But at the end of the day, I really enjoyed this book. I've always loved Marvel trying to make their villains, sympathetic. That's what makes their villains work a lot of the times. And having Otto kind of doing this redemption arc that he did, several years ago in Superior Spider-Man, kind of continue it here. I loved Dr. Doom's arc in Iron Man. Whenever they turned Magneto into a semi-good guy, I kind of like that too. The only thing is I know that this eventually that he's going to be back as Doc Ock and fighting Peter again. But I do like this for what it is. I can't wait for the next issue. I think Christos Gage is probably the best work he's doing for Marvel right now. But this is a huge flame on for me. Johnny, what did you think?
Right. Okay. So let's see. So there's I've got an issue with this book a little bit in that they use a plot device, the siphoning of the power cosmic, which I think we will talk about again in a little bit. So I'm not even sure the editors even talk to each other. It's like, hey, do you know what we're doing over in Fantastic Four this week? We're going to siphon off the power cosmic. Hey, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that in Superior Spider-Man. It's like, really? Can you not pick a different plot point? I mean, you've got 102 books coming out. Tell me you've got at least 80 different stories in there. No?
So I can tell you this much, that there's 6 titles where that's coming up right
now. See, thanks, Lucas. Lucas is the numbers guy. There you go. Check it out. I'm on the fence with this. I really am. In some parts, it's really, really, really funny. In a way that it's naturally funny. In a way that other books tend to try too hard. So I do like the way that Night Shift interact with Otto. But I've got to ask the question: if he's so smart, why does he need them, really? He's supposed to be like Superior. Right. I don't remember Spider-Man rocking around with a gang of people, unless you count the Avengers. Is this book turning into Arrow, the TV show, with Anne-Marie being Felicity? I'm going to watch what you're doing with my siphoned off chest that I'm going to keep everyone quiet about. I like some of the art, some strong postures and poses. Even if when it gets to faces, it does turn a little bit Todd Nook in places. And Georgie Belair's colours are brilliant as always. This for me is a Mr. Fantastic, but it's like the Mr. Fantastic with the fake stretchy mechanical arms, not the Mr. Fantastic with the real.
That's almost like a clobber, I think. What the heck?
Right. So I'm just saying.
Fake news. Fake
stretchy arms. There you go. That's where I'm at on this one.
Lucas, what did you think?
All right. So, man, you guys are bringing up some really good points, man. Like you brought up Professor Marconi. I loved her. You're talking about, and Johnny, you're talking about his use of the Night Shift, which is, it's a military tactic, man. Freaking, if the enemy thinks that you're coming at them from one way, you bring your enemies around to the right. So they were to feint. And whereas he was the main power, but he didn't explain it that way, so that's whatever. So I think the main thing is that for Superior Spider-Man number 3 is this is the second appearance of the cosmically powered Super Spider-Man. It's the second appearance of the cosmic power harness. Now the thing is, this is not the first appearance of Spider-Man as the cosmic one because Peter Parker he has been cosmically powered. He's been cosmically powered before back in the 90s when a Unity power chose him to be the next Captain Universe. Doctor Doom and Red Skull have both been achieved cosmic abilities in the past by manipulation of the cosmic cube. Now, I love this book because Mr. Gage, author, they delivered an action-packed, against all odds battle. The fact that it was anchored by the emotional relationship between Professor Mercani and Otto was absolutely great. Plus, it actually takes an effort to push her character arc forward, while foreshadowing other changes later that makes this book that I'm definitely going to pick up again. And by that I mean, in the last panels, right after everything is done, and Otto is looking for the power harness. He's like, "Where is it?" And she says, "Hey, well, it's Alpha Flight took it. It's in good hands. They took it, but later on they show her in the laboratory, and she's actually got it in the lab. And she explains the reason that she has is because she knows Otto, and she thinks that Otto is going to revert back to the old bad guy again. And then when he does that, she's going to be ready. So what that foreshadows is that she's going to use the power harness to turn herself into a superpowered being. Which means, and so here's a question: are there any other superpowered dwarfs in the Marvel universe?
Puck.
Right now?
On Alpha Flight, Puck.
Yeah, Puck's the one.
Okay.
He's not really superpowered though.
Because he's like a god, right?
No, he's actually cursed. He's a cursed midget. He used to be like 7 feet tall, and the demons cursed him, and now he's a shriveled up dwarf. And he actually he lives every day with pain because he's like a 7 foot tall guy living in a 4 foot body.
We are talking that we're counting Wolverine as part of that.
There you go.
Do we have measurements on how tall he is, or what? I don't know.
Wolverine or Puck?
Yeah, Wolverine.
5'3".
He's tiny. Yeah, 5 foot. Yeah, 5'3" if anything. Yeah. Good shout.
Yeah. So there's two covers for this thing. I don't know why there wasn't anything big and popping coming this. The cover A was by Travis Charest, and the cover B was by Jesus Saiz. What made me, this was a good enough thing that I was looking into buying the first appearance of what's her name, Professor Mercani, just in case I'm right. Her first appearance is in Fantastic Four. Excuse me. Her first appearance is in Superior. Her first appearance is in Superior Spider-Man #5. That's in 2013. And the most rare is by Mark Bagley. That's a 1 in 50. But you can pick up one for like $10, $11. It's pretty easy to find out there. And that's all I got.
So we can pick that up. Pick up Anna Marconi's first appearance for short change.
Yep, you can pick up a 1 to 50 for like $10 to $12, man. It's really cheap.
So a little money.
A little money.
A little bit.
Sorry. Sorry. I
know. That's a little bit funny.
Hey, we got to get some sound effects on this show, man.
Wah, wah, wah.
All right. So that was a flame on from Lucas, a flame on from me, and robot Mr. Fantastic arms from.
Well, hey, that's arms from me, right?
Oh, machine man arms. Yeah. I don't know. That sounds like a clobber to me. It's like a backhanded bit of a stretch.
That's how I feel about this book. Perfectly described.
All right. So in that case, we'll go over to you next, Johnny, for Fantastic Four #7, the very, very late Fantastic Four #7.
Right. Okay. I've already mentioned you've got power cosmic siphoning again. It's like crazy. It's like somebody has half a good idea and then boom, everybody jumps on the wagon. Now, here we go. It's going to get a bit fruity, and I apologize. Dan Slott. On Spider-Man for 10 years. You either love him, you hate him. Is there anybody in the middle? I don't know. But please, to God, please tell me that the arguably the person who is perceived as the best writer at Marvel Comics can come up with something better than Big Bang cannons. Are you having my life? For Christ's sakes. This is almost as bad as when Scott Snyder did Batmanium over in Metals. It's like, I need a cannon that reinvents the Big Bang, so I'll call Big Bang. It's like, I swear, this book is so dumbed down. It is unbelievable, and I just don't understand why it has to be dumbed down. You know, I mean, it's always been about family, and it's got family in because the kids are there, and Alicia's blind. You know she's blind because she explains everything in the dialogue, so that you know that, ooh, I can smell gasoline. How are you taking? Are you pulling apart a car? Ooh, I can smell baby part. Ooh, no, I can't hear breathing. Therefore, it's like, for Christ's sakes, we get it already. We know you're blind. I know. I've been around since bloody Fantastic Four 5 or something, the first series. So how ugh. Bonkers. So Victor's trying to use the Power Cosmic again to supply Latvia with a new energy supply. He's siphoning off Galactus. Believe me, I wrote that somewhere else before. It was much ruder when I said it in my head. I had to change the language. And of course, the Fantastic Four are there as well, and they get siphoned as well as part of the parcel, which is alluded to by the Sue Storm saying we're all drained. Strange that Ben Grimm hasn't turned back to his human form. This is the sort of bullshit that bubbles my hemoglobin. The art's decent enough, a little cartoony in places. Some of the figures are a little wonky, especially when Sue comes in, pretty much Iceman style on a force shield, and then bends over backwards to protect Ben. I'm not going to say clobber. I'm going to go with a Sue Storm on this one. It's just, I don't know what it wants to be. Is it supposed to be trying to be a family all ages book? I don't know, but it seems to me that that's what they're getting. Big Bang cannons. I'm done. Thank you.
Singularity disruptors. That's what they're called.
You know what? That would have worked better.
Yeah, just say singularity disruptors and leave it at that.
Yeah.
But no, here's the deal.
Sorry,
here's the deal, and I absolutely understand what you're talking about, and I agree with you. But I think it was because the whole thing was televised. That's why he wanted to make it dumbed down for the television audience. If that's the reason why, then that makes sense to me.
The thing that didn't make sense, Lucas, just to jump in for 2
more minutes. I've got a couple of things that don't make sense, but I'll let you go first, man.
Reed Richards changes his hands into the shape of the nullifier, and yet Galactus, bearing in mind this is the weapon that can destroy him, doesn't think, oh yeah, that looks different. You know, I didn't realize Reed Richards could shape into different colors as well anymore. I mean, I've heard his suit's unstable molecules, but come on. Right, I'm done now, definitely. Lucas.
Well, yeah, he's more like Plastic Man, right? We've never seen Mr. Fantastic do shapes like Plastic Man. Usually just stretchy, right?
Yes. Yep. So
unless you play Lego Marvel superheroes, then he turns into shapes. Whatever.
Yeah.
So I have just a couple of things I want to say about that is, you're a villainous despot when you're thinking of trying to get renewable resources for your for your country, and the first thing you think of is Galactus. And the second thing is, so we have this new character that obviously is going to be the next Herald of Galactus. But what's her name? What's
Victorious.
the name? Oh
Victorious.
My God! Is that the worst name for a
right? Yeah,
Dr.
I did.
Doom flunky.
Right. Yeah. The first time they mentioned it, I didn't know whether that was the name of a person or whether they just messed up the sentence or something like that. But apparently that's what they're going with. So yeah.
I was just like, Victorious, really? Other than that, I mean, I guess I don't mind her character that much, but obviously, I mean, whenever they introduce a new Herald of Galactus, you kind of see it coming from a mile away, right? But that's just me. So I just want to say, you know how earlier I said I really like it when they do redemption arcs, and how I really like Doctor Doom's redemption arc in Iron Man. So much for that, huh?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, what that was like 4 months ago, right? I mean, 4 months ago he's running around with Iron Man armor, but now he's back to form, and just being evil, running around being evil. I don't get it anymore. I don't get it.
Is he? Because I take it a different way. Like, I understand. According to him, he's acting on behalf of his country. What's it called? Latveria.
Yep.
So everything he does, like he puts the Fantastic Four, he restrains them and all that stuff, but he's doing it because they just entered Latveria without any passports, visas, and everything. So they're basically illegal immigrants to Latveria right now, and they're acting in a law enforcement entity. You can't just do that. So if that's the angle that he's coming from, I kind of get it. Even though it's kind of weird that they're explaining all that stuff like Big Bang cannons, but they didn't break that down for the people. That's kind of weird. But
well, when he was Iron Man, wasn't he doing the exact same thing, going into other countries and beating up bad guys?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
I don't know. It's just like the last words of this issue are, though it pains me to do it, all 4 of them must be sentenced to death. Like, I'm sorry. Okay, villain.
So the thing is, Lucas is absolutely bang on right. Absolutely right with this. Very much like Lex Luthor, Doctor Doom doesn't see himself as a bad person. He's doing what's best for his people. And if the best thing he can do is get a renewable source of energy in the power cosmic, then fine, that's what he's going to do. Fair enough. He kind of invites the Fantastic Four to come in because he wants to siphon their power cosmic. But once they're there, they've broken the rules. It's very clear that you're not supposed to go to that area. If you decide to go, well then, what's he supposed to do? It's even alluded to in the dialogue when you read it through the masses. If one of them says, "Oh, well, so much for being a hard border," then it's like, well, actually, it is a hard border because he's going to kill him. So you kind of like, he's doing what's best for his people. I think Lucas is bang on right with that one.
Yeah. No, I do agree with you, and it is why that I like the way Marvel writes some of their best villains sometimes, because their motivations are almost noble when you get to a point where, of course, Magneto and Doctor Doom and, well, I guess Dr. Octopus you can kind of throw in there now, but
yeah, it pains me to say this, but I think I would have rather have had a Doctor Doom book than a Fantastic Four book right now.
Right.
Some of the stuff on him, some of the stuff on him is a little bit more interesting than what's going on with the Fantastic Four.
Well, so. And I can bring up a better example of the best sympathetic villain in the movies was Killmonger. You 90% agreed with him with everything that he was doing, and it just so happened that he fell on the wrong side of what was right. So, but you kind of you almost wanted him to succeed.
If Marvel can do more of that, like, I'm loving the Octavius deal. I'm loving the way they're pushing Doctor Doom right now. Like, I know the whole book isn't perfect, but I like what they're doing with it. Killmonger is great. Show me why the villains are doing what they're doing. Give me more of their perspective, and I'm definitely going to hang on to your every word. And that's just the way I feel about it.
All right. So that was I didn't say, but for me this issue is kind of a bit of a stretch. I don't really I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Lucas, what did you think about this issue?
I am so confused right now, and here's why. So this whole thing was leading up to Galactus being turned from the World Devourer to the Lifebringer, right? Which apparently was what he was actually supposed to be, right?
Right.
Here's the problem. Back in the Ultimates #2, he was already changed into the Lightbringer. Right?
Yep.
And just maybe like a few issues ago inside of Moon Girl, number 26, he was still the Lightbringer. So at what point did he revert back to the Devourer so they can turn him into the Lightbringer again? I don't understand.
I know it happened. I want to say it was the end of Silver Surfer, that run. They did turn him back into the Devourer of Worlds.
Okay.
Don't quote me that it happened in Silver Surfer though, because I know it happened somewhere.
When did that happen? 2018 or 2019?
No, it was last year. Make me look it up.
Because Moon Girl number 26 was only like December.
Yeah. Hold on.
I mean, look, they even talk about Moon Girl number 26 inside the book.
Yeah. They talk about how he looks different and how he's gone from.
Yeah.
Wait, he's wearing purple. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, I didn't realize it was color change.
Oh, it was in Infinity Countdown.
When was the Infinity Countdown? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was just recently. Yeah.
Who can remember when that was? Poof.
It was Infinity Countdown. That was right before Infinity Wars. That was right before Infinity Gauntlet 3.
So
I don't know.
So it's got 4 covers that I could care less about by Mike McCone, Youngo Cho, Valeria Shitty, and Bill Sienkiewicz. None of those are covers that I ran out to the store to get. So it's just so confusing for me. There's stuff in there I liked. I liked the Doctor Doom stuff. But the other stuff was just confusing for me. I even liked the stuff where they were back at the house with the kids, and the kids are tearing apart the car. I like that stuff. So, but the whole thing with Galactus going from purple to gold and everything, pick a color and stick with it, and let's roll with it. So for right now, this is a stretch for me.
All right. So sadly, the latest episode of latest issue of Fantastic Four, nobody flamed it on, huh? All right.
Oh.
All right, so let's jump into our final review of the day. We're going to do Amazing Spider-Man number 16. So Lucas, will rotate back to you. What did you think of Amazing Spider-Man 16?
Loved it. So there's the whole Amazing Spider-Man run has been leading up to this whole deal where there have been, I forget who it was, they've been capturing these villains like Rhino and the Lizard Guy and all these other guys, just capturing these guys, and they never really explained why. Then there was this other issue where Kraven, he got a hold of this big bubble that could isolate a whole city. Now, in our last episode that we were talking about, I thought it was for Avengers, because they got the whole thing, or not Avengers, excuse me, the Captain Marvel thing where she's whole kind of isolated in her whole thing, or is it Avengers? I forget. So anyway, so the whole thing right now is happening is he's been looking for a purpose, and he invited all of his sons because apparently he cloned 84 little Cravens and raised these motherfuckers. I'm not tracking where the storyline came from. But he cloned himself 84 freaking times. Why not 100? Why not 120? I don't know. And he trained them and sent them out to the world. And now he's invited them back for dinner, and only one of these guys showed up. This guy shows up with a trash bag full of skulls. He's like, "Hey, Pop, what's up?" Pulls out the skulls. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're expecting your sons? Nope, not gonna happen because I killed all of them." Like that was kind of cold. And Kraven is loving it. He's like, "Yes, you've proven that you are going to be my heir." Like, all right, great. So they move kind of quickly. I don't know why they move quickly off of that, because it's like, hey, what's going on with that whole deal? To this whole thing where apparently Kraven has set up this party where he's invited all these millionaires, and these millionaires are going to be giving the opportunity to hunt down all these villains, like all the villains that was collected before. They're going to set them loose along the island, and they're going to be hunted down and killed. But there's this foreshadowing that that's not all that's going to happen. That there's something else going to happen. I just don't know what. But so far, I like it. There wasn't really much that I didn't like. There's 2 covers by Cully Hamner and Mike Hawthorne. I'm still trying to do the research. Is this the first appearance of Craven's hair? I don't know. Like, there's 84 of these motherfuckers. I don't know if there was something where they showed it before and he was like probably in this other thing. I don't know. So it's kind of confusing, but I'm still trying to hunt that down. What did you guys think?
I'll go last.
Well, this was my very favorite issue, first issue of Craven the Hunter, ever. So that kind of says what I think about it. I thought it was a really good book. It just wasn't Spider-Man until you got to like page 25. But I'm one that the last Craven the Hunter story that I remember is the one from 30 years ago now.
Symmetry.
Craven's Last Hunt. Yeah. So that was the defining moment for Craven for me, and they could have left him dead and buried, and I would have not thought twice about having another story about Craven ever. But yeah, thanks to Nick Spencer for kind of recounting what the Craven's been doing. I didn't know that he had been resurrected. The last I knew was that he had his daughter was running around, and I think he had a son or something.
Right. Well,
but this is not this clone.
He's one of these other 84 motherfuckers that's running around out there. I don't know.
Maybe, but they kind of spend a lot of time kind of letting you know what Craven's motivation for everything he's doing here, which is basically, hey, I'm going to hunt stuff. That's what he does. I kind of like that. That he's kind of Nick Spencer's kind of circled back around to, hey, most of Spider-Man's villains are after like animals. So hey, why don't we just capture all of Spider-Man's villains and have Craven hunt them? And it's going to be like Spider-Man's version of the most dangerous game. So I'm kind of interested in seeing where it goes. I really kind of missed Spider-Man this entire issue. And I was waiting for it. I didn't. There's a backup story in this for like 5 pages, but that's mostly a Lizard story. It's not a Peter Parker story. He's only in the 2 pages, and Spider-Man's not in the book at all. So my only issue is the Lizard is basically kind of like a supporting character in this book so far, right?
Right.
Because he's been in several issues. I also saw him in jail in Captain America with the Wrecking Crew. So I don't know. Unless that was another Lizard villain-ish character. But go back and look at your issue of Captain America. It's from this very week, and he's also in jail. I like the story with Billy, the kind of clone Billy that's a Lizard, kind of tugs on my heartstrings a little bit. I mean, like he's trying to just be a normal kid, Aren't we all just trying to be normal?
Yeah.
So I kind of don't really like where this is kind of foreshadowing to go, but it seems like at the end of this book, Craven's flunkies, Taskmaster and the Black Ant, catch Billy, so he's going to factor into the storyline somewhere down the road. But there's a surprise last page, and I don't know if you guys really read through it, but if you read through the letters page, there's a surprise last page with Arcade bringing in robot Cravens into the city.
Right. Yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
So that's going to be a little bit of foreshadowing for an Arcade storyline. And I always thought Arcade was a better Spider-Man villain than an X-Men villain. I don't know, but he seems to be more like a better Spidey villain. But this is if you read the letters page, this is going to be the first issue. This is like the 2019 storyline for Spider-Man is this Hunted story, and they're going to have four special issues focusing on the villains, so that they're actually Amazing Spider-Man number 16.hu, and then 18, 19, and 20 are all going to have double issues with It's focusing on the villains. So next week is number 16 HU, which is going to focus on Black Cat.
Yeah. Have you seen that cover with Black Cat on it? It is amazing. It's really good.
I have not seen it, but
it looks really good.
I thought, so as much as I'm hammering on it, I'm gonna flame it on because I liked it, and I liked the Craven story. It's just, I know, I'm predicting that Johnny didn't like this book. But go ahead, Johnny.
I absolutely love this book. I thought it was great.
Oh, there. I was wrong again.
I'm just taking the piss. It was absolutely.
Oh, you got me, Johnny.
All right, okay. So one of the best Spider-Man stories of all time is the classic Kraven's Last Hunt, or AKA Fateful Symmetry. Why try and eradicate that with this? And also, there's hints of it, the whole thing, because he calls Spider-Man Spider, which is kind of what he alludes to in the original book, I guess. If it ain't broke, why are you trying to fix it? I don't know. I'm not a big Otley fan. Ryan Otley's on art with Alberto Albuquerque. I can say it. And even though his art reminds me, or their art reminds me a lot of Rick Leonardi, it seems like it's cartoon week. As I mentioned earlier, it just doesn't work for me. And of course, there is appropriately enough, a bit of an elephant in the room. Being a Hunter story, of course, and that's like very much like the Avengers. There's no Spider-Man in this. It's like you might as well just call it Kraven the Hunt Prelude Issue 1, and there's just done with it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no need for this. And when it does feature Spider-Man, it seems that MJ has been regressed into the I'll just wait at home character. It's like. Is that all MJ is good for? It really? Is that all MJ has been since her inception? Just I'll wait at home? There's been moments of that, sure, but other times she's a strong character by herself. I know that everyone loves the idea of MJ being back and Peter being back together, but I'd like MJ to actually come back. Not just some picture of some redhead who you assume's MJ, because she certainly isn't acting like it. It's bad writing for female characters. Unbelievably bad. It's like regressed. Bring back MJ campaign starts right here, right now. Clobber this book. There you go.
Oh, Johnny, I love you. I knew you were gonna hate it. The more I read and the less Spider-Man I saw, I was like, Johnny's gonna just lambaste this book.
I didn't want to. I would have. I don't know what it is. Spider-Man to me is one of the marquee books in Marvel, but it seems that Marvel don't treat him that way. So over in DC, you put your best writers and your best artists on books like Batman and Action Comics because they're your big books, right?
Right.
Marvel tend to go with the idea of, well, you know what, Spider-Man's going to sell anyway, so let's just put whatever's on there. And if you look at the art style in this book, last issue it was drawn like it was an episode of one of the cartoon shows. It's like, I get Nick Spencer can come up with some great ideas, but sometimes certain creators don't gel with certain characters, and I'm not sure that he's gelling with Spider-Man. Or at least he's not gelling with the parts of Spider-Man that I like, which is Peter Parker and MJ.
Well, I think Nick Spencer's strength has always been writing the villains. If we remember, like the Superior Foes of Spider-Man, that was really, really good. And the villains, when he writes the villains, they're all engaging and interesting and fun.
Up to a point.
Up to a point.
Because in this book, Kraven's in the Savage Land killing shed loads of stuff. So the High Evolutionary gets involved. And the High Evolutionary, instead of just saying, clicking his finger and get rid of Kraven, for some inexplicable reason says, oh, well, I'll make a deal with you and make 84 versions of you. I mean, he's the High Evolutionary, for Christ's sakes. He it's like, it's just bonkers.
Well,
if you've got a guy that's that powerful, why would you even consider making a deal with Craven? There's just no logic to it.
well, this is the thing that now I'm a little confused. Is now with this high evolutionary story, was this a flashback to a different story, or was this Nick Spencer actually writing this really convoluted short story about Craven killing all the Inamen?
I read it because, as you said, Craven hasn't been around for a while. I read it as Nick Spencer giving us a potted history as to how to explain where he is in this story. Because without those Craven pages, the rest of this book makes no sense, or the rest of this arc's going to make no sense. So you've got to have to, he's kind of like, hey, I'm going to have this great idea, and I'm going to do this, and then someone's turned around and said, yeah, but Craven's dead. He's like, oh, bollocks. And then I had to go, damn it, how did that happen?
I missed that issue.
How did I miss the most popular Spider-Man story ever?
He died? He died at the end of that?
Oh, shit, now I'm going to have to make some crap up. And this is what we got.
Oh, man. Come on, Johnny, you make me change my opinions on books all the time. I still liked it. Still a flame on.
Down the Yancey Street.
Oh, God. All right. Well, why don't you guys pick up Amazing Spider-Man number 16 and make up your own mind? So, all right. So that's going to do it. Anybody else? Any other topics you want to bring up? Or are we're good to go? I think we're done.
I think we're pretty good, unless Lucas, you want to comment on a couple of things?
No, I think we need to go ahead and shut down the shop right now. Well, I will tell you this: if you guys want to join me on Hammered Heroes tonight, where we can get drunk and talk shit about the other stuff, we can absolutely do that.
He's already started drinking now, so it's going to be excellent. It's going to be excellent.
What do you mean started? He hasn't stopped from yesterday.
Absolutely.
Oh, I want to just do a final shout out for the end of the episode. So in between this episode and next week, Captain Marvel is going to be dropping March 8th in theaters everywhere. Go check it out. I mean, it's been a year since we've had a Marvel shot. So
right. So how do we feel that it's going to do?
I think it's going to do some great box office. I really do. I don't know. I mean, and I think it's going to be positively reviewed since it's the first Marvel movie to focus on a female character. So
I hope it does. I've got to be honest. I hope it does really, really, really well. I'm probably not going to like the tweaks in the origin because I haven't liked it in the comic book. But the film's not aimed at me. So the film's aimed at people who don't know the character, so they've got to give it a clean slate. And I absolutely love, there's this picture on Twitter going around with Brie Larson on the red carpet signing a book for a kid who's dressed as Captain Marvel. And
really?
Yeah, the utilitarian suit that she's walking around now in. And I think that is absolutely bang on what this film should be about. But
all right.
It's a really, really great picture, and it's what the film should be. Hopefully it will be as well received as Wonder Woman.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us this week, and we will be back in a couple of weeks with another episode of No Prize Podcast.
All right.
Adios.
See ya.